Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. 7 best movies like Yellowstone to watch now. It's been less than a year since Yellowstone ended, yet some viewers may be missing the neo-Western series, and in that case, they should check out the following movies that are not only similar, but are available to stream today. Originally released in 2018, Yellowstone is a cornerstone of the neo-Western genre, exemplifying how the traditional themes of classic Western stories can apply to a modern-day setting and audience. Although Yellowstone hit some bumps in the road by the end of its run, namely the dramatic exit of Kevin Costner, the show mostly lives up to its legacy. Yellowstone is far from the only neo-Western project to make a splash in the last few years, which makes it far easier to find something similar to watch. The show's creator, Taylor Sheridan, has made a number of television series that are perfect after finishing Yellowstone. However, when it comes to movies in particular, the best films to watch after Yellowstone are those firmly situated in the Western genre, which may include notable stars from the show and showcase important themes from Yellowstone, such as family, crime, and dynasty. A great place to start on your post-Yellowstone journey is with the 2021 film, The Power of the Dog. Currently streaming on Netflix, this movie is about brothers George and Phil, who own a ranch in 1925 Montana. When George falls in love with an inn owner, Rose, she and her son move in with the brothers. However, Phil dislikes the newcomers and turns their fresh start into a tense and violent experience. The film stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Jesse Plemons, and Kirsten Dunst. The Power of the Dog may be a period piece, but it tackles themes that are just as important today as they were back then. In particular, this film explores family, inheritance, trauma, and the relationship between the West and its people. Through each character, audiences see how the West can change an individual for better or worse. More than anything, The Power of the Dog will give viewers an experience of intensity and mystery that is on the level with, if not better than, Yellowstone. For something more modern and a bit more violent, viewers should pick up Blue Ruin. This 2013 movie centers on Dwight Evans, who discovers that the man who killed his parents 20 years prior is being released from jail. Determined to get his own version of violent revenge, Dwight returns to his hometown in Virginia. Soon enough, he gets tangled up with the killer's family in a web of conspiracies and crime. The film is currently free to watch on Prime Video. Blue Ruin is made of many of the same ingredients that Yellowstone is. There is an anti-hero protagonist, a sense of, sometimes unhealthy, loyalty to family, and an edge of violence that brings to mind the westerns of the olden days. With a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, Blue Ruin is a gripping ride that perfectly blends crime, thrills, and neo-Western variables. It may be a bit darker than Yellowstone, but that only makes this revenge story even better. If John Dutton is your favorite Yellowstone character, then looking into Costner's Western movies is an absolute must. Arguably, one of his best projects to date is Dances with Wolves. The 1990 film revolves around a Civil War soldier who finds himself enamored with the way of life of a nearby tribe of Lakota people. Over time, he forms a bond with them and decides to leave his life behind to join their tribe. However, when Union soldiers arrive to take over the land, he must decide who he really wants to fight for. Dances with Wolves is perfect for those who love Costner as much as they love Yellowstone. This movie not only stars the actor at the prime of his career, but is also directed by him. In this film, viewers can see the care and talent that Costner puts into his projects, which is what led him to be so integral to Yellowstone. Despite being a period piece, and a more light-hearted one at that, Dances with Wolves encapsulates one Yellowstone ideal, which is that the beauty of the land is more important than money or reputation. God's Country is another neo-Western movie that will pique the interest of those seeking more modern Western films. Released in 2022, It follows a college professor who discovers two hunters trespassing on her land. She writes them a note requesting that they leave, only to find that they won't be shooed away so easily. From there, she must make a stand, not just for her property, but for herself. God's Country is streaming on Hulu. God's Country is a really great follow-up to Yellowstone because it tells the kind of story that is pivotal to the Sheridan show. In God's Country, the protagonist simply wants to enjoy the life she has made, but must deal with the desires and schemes of others. On a small scale, she is like John Dutton and his family. What this movie lacks in horseback riding and cowboy hats, it makes up for in slow-burn tension and strong themes of individuality, ownership, and standing up for oneself. As much as old-school Costner is entertaining, his newer Western projects are just as compelling. One such film is 2020's Let Him Go. Following the death of their son, a sheriff and his wife become concerned about their grandson, who is living with his mother and her abusive boyfriend off the grid. Unable to let another one of their loved ones suffer, the pair travel several miles to rescue their grandson, only to find that saving him won't be as easy as they once thought. Free to watch on Prime Video, Let Him Go is another wonderful Costner film that shows off his gruff cowboy persona and his dramatic acting skills. Even better, he is joined by Diane Lane, who adds a unique energy that may not be present in other Costner films. More than anything, Let Him Go is ideal for Yellowstone fans who have been craving more family drama and fights for justice in a bleak neo-Western landscape. Arguably, the best movies to watch like Yellowstone are those written and / or directed by Sheridan himself. Of the two Sheridan movies that are most similar to Yellowstone, the first is Wind River. This movie follows a wildlife officer and an FBI agent who team up to solve the murder of a young woman on a reservation. Available to stream on Prime Video, the film stars Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen, John Bernthal, Kelsey Isbell, and Gil Birmingham. Wind River is the first feature film that Sheridan wrote and directed himself, and is fantastic to say the least. Boasting a certified fresh 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is a bleak and gripping thriller that uses its Western setting to the best of its ability. Like Yellowstone, Wind River is informed by its context and certain social issues to create a deep movie that will leave audiences thinking long after it ends. It is definitely one of the best neo-Western of the last decade. Finally, the best movie to watch after Yellowstone is Hell or High Water. Written by Taylor Sheridan himself, this 2016 neo-Western is about a divorced father whose ranch is foreclosed on. Desperate to get it back, he teams up with his ex-convict brother to carry out a series of heists in order to save their family home. The only problem is that a local sheriff is onto them and won't let them get away with their crimes. The movie stars Chris Pine, Ben Foster, and Jeff Bridges, and is streaming on Hulu. Hell or High Water is the perfect follow-up to Yellowstone because it encapsulates everything that the TV show is about. There are complicated family relationships, a descent into crime, and a classic Western chase between criminals and an honorable sheriff. Plus, it's all written in the very same hand as Yellowstone. Ultimately, this movie is a fantastic watch all on its own, but it is perfect for those who miss the atmosphere of Yellowstone.